Guys, today we are honored with the presence of Mr. Jacob Arabo, founder, CEO, president, and chief of Jacob & Co. And we have a bunch of questions that we're going to ask him, and there's been some questions for me too. So we're going to do the best to answer those as we can. And Jacob is also going to show us some new watches, which is really, really exciting. But first of all, hi, Jacob, how are you?
Hey, hello, hello. Hi, Michael. Nice to see you. Nice to speak to you again.
Nice to see you too. You look fantastic. It's a shame that we can't be there in person because of the virus, but this is the second best thing.
Yes, yes, Zoom is the second best thing, and we are doing great with it. So we're back to business. We're back in.
Fantastic. So how is everything first and foremost?
Everything's fine. I took a trip to Dubai because we were allowed to take a trips now, and it was great. People are back to normal, but very restricted, of course. Very careful, and they test everyone before you land. But business is doing great. Doing great. Everything's fine. Health-wise is good. Thank God, everything's fine. And
That's all that
you?
matters. Everything's great here too. Everything's great. It's a little bit challenging in Los Angeles because of the lockdowns. It's still pretty tense, but hopefully it's getting better.
I hope so. I hope so. But you're staying in, right?
Yeah, I'm being very careful. The only person I'm around is Adam. I suppose that's a little bit dangerous. Right,
Um,
Adam?
Maybe a little tiny bit, yeah.
He's very careful, but not quite as careful as me. But anyway, so let's start with some questions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read them exactly as they were put on my Instagram page, and feel free to just answer them any way you want. We ready?
sure, sure,
And
sure,
I
of course. Of course.
and I apologize in advance if I pronounce some of these names incorrectly, but I'll do my best. So the first question is from Ricardotti. I think it's either Ricardote or Ricardotti. And he says, first of all, I'm glad to see you guys back, especially Sir Jacob. Nothing about me there. Stay safe, guys, he says. I just wanted to say I love the passion you both guys do with the things you work. I think I read that all wrong. Let's try that again. I just wanted to say I love the passion you both guys do with the things your work. And for Mr. Jacob, where do you find the inspiration for the concept of the first Astronomia? All the best, R.
Well, as a child, I always look at the stars and the moon and wondered, how can we bring all this to a small box or small watch, to shrink all this? And always wondered, where does it all end? All the stars, all this, our universe. Um, I was always wondering. And when I grew up and I started studying all this, I said, you know what, one day I'm going to make a watch where I'm going to shrink all this and make it work. So the first time that I had a chance to do it, I designed Astronomia, where you have the globe, our globe rotating, or you have the moon rotating, and basically satellites, and it's all rotating around. So that's where an idea came up, and it was impossible to do actually. My watchmakers, they took about 3 years to research develop, because I'm an idea man. I give the idea, and then it takes a long time to basically make it work. So I'm inspired by impossible, so, and that's what I did, and that's how
But
I came up with it.
it's the impossible things that you've created that makes Jacob and Co so special, because nobody, and I mean nobody, has anything close to your watches and the innovations you have. So, wow. We love your designs. Yeah, I just feel sorry for your watchmakers.
No, they're having fun actually. They love doing this. They feel that they have challenging job, and it's not boring, because a lot of companies they worked for before, maybe it was just uh, they that's what I heard, that it was just boring jobs and they just had certain job to do, and there's nothing exciting going on. Here you have a challenge to create, to think, and to come up with answers. And
Well, I'm
basically,
sure.
most of between engineers and the watchmakers. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure everybody from the watchmakers to the customers to the admirers, everybody appreciates it. So let me ask you the next question. So the next one comes from Justin's Supercars. And Justin says, from an entrepreneurial standpoint, how difficult was it to found a watch company and how long did it take to get it up and running?
Well, I am in jewelry business for much longer than the watch business. So I started a jewelry company uh, in 80s, where the watches, I started to design the watches from 2001. Actually, that's when I made the first prototype. And it wasn't easy because the watch industry is very small. And basically, especially those years, it was difficult for a stranger to come in and just do whatever he wants to design and manufacture. The manufacturers are very tough to deal with. They choose who to deal with, and if, when you first come in, you can't open your own factory right away, so you depend on subcontractors. So it was challenging, but in the end, they loved my designs and signed up with me. So that's how I started the watch business, the watch brand. And actually, it was success overnight. You know, we were very successful. And again, it's all was design driven.
Excellent, excellent. Well, it's come a long, long way. And I can only imagine what's coming in the future.
Yes, I don't stop, Michael. You know that. It's never
I know
enough. For
that.
me, it's like a first day. That's how I treat it. It's haven't begun to fight, as I say always.
That's
Um,
brilliant. And I've got to tell you
yeah,
guys, so occasionally I'll get a call from Jacob and Jacob will say, Michael, I've got a new watch coming. You've got to see it. You want to be the first one to see it? Yes. So it's always exciting.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I always in my mind to bring something to the watch industry or the jewelry business. Something hasn't been done before. This gives me great pleasure to introduce new technology, new looks, new designs. That's my job.
Awesome. Adam, I know you have some questions that you're going to fire my way as well, right?
So, first one from Faisal61080. My question is, can we see a special Jacob and Michael special edition watch in the future?
Wow, that is a great question, and it's something that Jacob and I have actually been talking about. Um, I would be honored, thrilled, words failed me, to do a collaboration with Jacob. And I know Jacob has some ideas for it. So, what are your ideas, Jacob?
Well, it's not only my ideas. I would like to get ideas from you. I would like to get it from the people that's watching this right now. I would like them to come up with some ideas and send some drawings, perhaps. I would like to get people's opinions. Just to make a watch is just to make a watch, but that watch has to be special because Michael, you're very special, and if you're going to do something with me, it has to be something that people will enjoy, and it has to be different. It cannot be mass produced, of course, and yeah, I would like to get some opinions. Yes, I do have some ideas, but I would like to hear more from outside. My
Would you want to base it on an existing watch that you already have and modify it, or would it be a totally new creation?
It doesn't matter to me. It's just that what I have already, it's easier to modify, but we could create something from scratch. Just
So I
a
have an
little.
I have an idea, and this is something that Jacob and I have not spoken about, and Jacob might say no, but I'm going to ask you. You mentioned just now drawings. Should we potentially let people submit ideas and drawings, and maybe the one that we pick get some kind of a prize or a watch or something?
Yes, of course. I always believe in this. I once had years ago, like when I first made my first Quinton watch. I wasn't sure it was a $360,000 watch, whether it's going to sell, what people will think about it. But it was the first time ever 31-day power reserve made with a vertical turbine. So before I actually launched it, one of my clients came in. I said, "Look, I'm doing this project and I'm not sure what to name it. I'm not sure I even should make it. But if you like it, and he liked it very much, I said, if you be the first one to buy it, I'll name it after you." And I did. He was the first one to buy it. His name happened to be Clinton. So, that's why I believe in this. There's a lot of talent out there that, hidden talent also. So I'd like to see it. You never know
That's a
this.
great thing. How would we go about getting those drawings? How would that work? They email them or how?
I guess email them. I don't know. What do
We
you
need to
think?
set something up. Adam, can we set something up where people can submit drawings?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we'll just set up an email address they can send them to, and then they can email through their submissions, and then we can have you guys review them.
That's brilliant. Well, yay, that's exciting. That's really, really exciting.
So I will put that email address in the description of this video. So if you want to submit your designs, then the email address will be listed down below.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Well, I'm excited, and everybody's involved in this, so that's what makes it even more exciting. So I'm going to move on to the next question. Are you ready? So the next question is from Barak Kwand Co. I think that's what it says. Barak Kwando. Jacob, I admire you as a business person, and I take a lot of inspiration from that. Can I ask what a typical day for you, or what is a typical day for you? What time you start? Do you have a routine? Do you arrange meetings with staff, etc.? Love to see a day in the life of. Many thanks, Chris Baroku of Baroku & Co. UK.
Yes. Well, to answer this question, Jacob and Co. is a global company. So I start early. The reason I started early in the morning because I have to deal with Asia, all the long distance phone calls because it's 12 hours of, far away from us. Then it's Middle East, which is 8 hours. Then it's Europe. So my first half of the day, it's all international. And then my second half of the day is all domestic, which is still Switzerland and New York and LA and South America. So yeah, my schedule is very tight and I'm very busy starting early in the morning and basically I only have time to have lunch and very little time to spend on myself. But basically, it's a very busy day every day, and I'm very happy because I like to be busy and I'm doing something good. And so to answer your question, it's early in the morning. Say from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's my work.
That's a long day, but it's worth putting in the effort always. Adam, throwing it over to you.
Okay, next question is from Bar Down Snipe, and he says, for both of you, what motivates you the most to keep going in what you do?
I'm going to answer that first, then I'll pass it over to Jacob. What motivates me is the ability to try and better myself every day. I don't care what I know, I care what I don't know, and I want to get as much information and knowledge as possible. I strongly believe that knowledge is power, and in order to do some of the things that I want to do, I always set myself goals. I try to learn something new every day. That's what motivates me. Jacob, what about you?
Well, very similar, Michael. For me, motivation every day, as older we get, something new we learn every day. I'm speaking about myself actually. So every day is a challenging day. What motivates me is designs, it's production, it's making people happy really in the end of the day, and that's what pleases me. um, and I'm motivated by success and making people happy.
I love that. That's a great answer. Before we go on to the next question, I know you've got some watches that you want to show us. Can we have a sneak peek at a couple of them?
Yes, of course. I don't know how many, if I have so much to show new, but I do have something special here. This is a brand new design where we have hand painted and hand engraved line head inside the watch. So basically inside, you see it well. I don't know.
Yes, that's incredible.
Lion head. Looks like really 3D picture, but it's all hand engraved and hand enameled.
What inspired that watch, and how much is it?
It's about 600,000 retail. It's Astronomia. What's inspired? I mean, I love animals, and I think to see this big lion head inside the watch something I would wear first, and then hopefully somebody else would too. So I just, I just like to do things that I like. It's I just make them because it comes to me, and I want to make a snake watch, or I made as you know, I have this beautiful dragon watch with a dragon in it. Where you
That's
can see
absolutely incredible. Incredible.
Every window in a watch, and you actually have enough room to put a whole dragon inside Astronomia. So it's dragon, it's a snake, it's really, we have several different options here, but this is what I do. I just like to put these things inside the watch, and happens to be people like it, and they have their own reasons why. And I thought dragons would be only for Asians. I have actually spoke to other people from other culture and different countries, and I asked one of the Russian even. He said, "Well, I was born in a year of dragon. I want a dragon watch." Wow, good reason. So
It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's interesting.
Cool.
So,
well, before you show us more, we'll ask some more questions, and we'll come back and see some more watches. Does that sound like a good idea?
of course.
Okay.
Which watch are you?
I am wearing the Ghost.
Beautiful.
I love this watch. It's such a fun watch.
It's a fun watch. I'm wearing.
I'll swap you
all day long.
I mean, if we're showing watches, boys, then can I just get in on the action as well, please?
There you go. It's a real Jacob fest.
Jacob, you know that I wore this diving, right?
Black Epic X's because of you. There's no more left.
Really? They all sold out?
We only have titanium now. No more black. So we're gonna have 3-4 months to get the next shipment. Beautiful.
It's because people saw me diving in it, and they were like, "Wow, really?" So.
Yeah.
It's a great piece. And it suits you. It suits your lifestyle, suits everything else. So that's a great piece. Jacob, question for you. This comes from Kanch Galindo. And Kanch Galindo says, what does it take to be the best watch designer? And where do you have to go to be the best, school or country?
Well, I was blessed with the natural, I was just blessed with a talent, with ideas that I didn't learn in school. You can go to school to learn how to design, but you still have to have a talent. If you don't have a talent, everything you learn, but you still have to put it together. So talent plus education. So when I was designing, ideas just come to me, and I see the final picture in the end. The best watch designers are really, most of the watch designers are watchmakers, actually. I was a watchmaker for some very short time when I was 16 years old, and I was taking. My father wanted me to learn watchmaking, so for 2 months I was working as an intern for watchmaker, and I fell in love with this business because I saw 300 components taken apart from the watch, and I asked my watchmaker, I said, "How would you remember to put everything back the way it's supposed to be?" It's a difficult work. It's really not easy as it seems. It's some of the watches that I have now 900 components. It's if one component is not correct or not installed properly, the whole watch won't work. So the best designers are basically naturally talented, um, basically born with a talent, or really you could take classes today. There's schools in Switzerland, most of it, and you become a designer.
That's new information for me. I didn't know you were a watchmaker. That explains a lot, actually. Really cool. Really, really cool. I've been to a couple of factories in Switzerland, as you know, one of which is Jacob & Co. And I've played with these tiny little pieces and with a piece of wood, polishing the pieces to go inside the watch. And it's so unbelievably difficult. People ask all the time, why do watches cost as much as they do? They have no idea how much work goes into putting a movement together. It's not just putting the parts together, it's creating those parts by hand. And it's my hat is off to all these people. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And you can do that too?
It's basically, it's more difficult to make a watch movement than the engine of the car because it's so tiny. It's much smaller to work with. It's a small engine, basically a small engine. But and also a great team helps you and helps me. And it's a vision. The designer has a vision. So when you have a vision.
So I have a question for you. I have a question for you, Jacob. And the question that I have is, how do you go about selecting your watchmakers?
Oh, my watchmakers, they select me actually.
Do they really? I can believe that. That's makes sense.
Watchmakers, they want to work in a company that will excite them. That will, for example, we know for a fact that watchmakers that work on a Chiron Bugatti watch, they are so excited. They were so happy. There's 2 or 3 watchmakers that's on this project. They willingly work overtime just because they're so into it. They're so excited to work on projects like that. So yeah, when you become a brand and there are watchmakers that actually ask for a job because they want to work somewhere that's interesting for them. They want, because they already worked in so many different companies and they already know basically everything that's going on in the watch industry. So, and it's not easy for a good watchmaker to come by. It's rare. But it's when they do come around and they're good. It's talent and education, but they have to be just talented naturally.
And passion, I'm assuming as well.
And passion, big time, yeah. And passion, I forgot, yeah.
Right, that's a really big one. So here's a question from Roots_Eco Lifestyle. And he says, good afternoon, producer Michael and Jacob and Co. I admire both of you. My question is for Mr. Arabo. I see how you are passionate on your job, and even if you are one of the best time makers, you're still selling the watches in person. You are doing that with your friends or with all the customers. How can buy interesting timepiece? Now, just wanted to say something that I read that question as it was written. I'm assuming that this person is not from the US or from an English-speaking country because of the way that it's phrased. But do you understand the question, what he's asking?
Of course, I understand. Yeah, some of this people who are writing to you, of course, not maybe if English is not their first language, but I understand. And the answer is simple. We have an amazing team globally, sales team that does that work with sales. But there's a lot of sales that I handle myself to people that I know already, and I work with them for many years, and friends, and those are VIP clients that actually I know personally that I can't say no to, that I know for many years. Yeah, it's my pleasure. Yeah, I answer many questions all day long. People call me, they text me, and ask me questions. I'm hands-on. I am.
That's
If
how
that's
that's
what
how
you.
we met. I came into the boutique to buy a watch, and you appeared out of nowhere. It was a wonderful thing and a great honor and pleasure, and we became great friends because of it.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, yeah, you were first dealing with my nephew, and then my nephew introduced me to you. Yeah.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I'm glad, and I'm still very good friends with your nephew too. So it's a family affair. Adam, throwing it your way.
Okay, next one comes from Rstang42, and he says, where does Jacob see the collector watch market going since the pandemic is ongoing? Good morning from Detroit.
Good morning, Detroit. Well, collector's market. I thought it will slow down during COVID-19, but in fact, it's picked up. And for what reason? I imagine people that are sitting home, um, most of these men have more time to kill than before. They have more time to look at social media. I would assume that's my opinion because I had more time. So they would search and research and read more and more about these things, about these watches that they didn't get a chance or time before, and they end up buying. And I also spoke to some of the car manufacturers, and they also were busy with the specialty cars, not just mass market. That the business was actually doing well, and collectors are collectors. It's people will always buy something special that they love to wear, and conversation watches, and some kind of watches that you will pass to your children. Um, Collectors, there's always going to be collectors, whether it's COVID-19 or not. But thank God it didn't really affect our business.
That's good to know because I think the positivity behind that as well, that people continue, they're not letting this say, oh, it's the end of the world. It will get better and life must go on. So talking of watches, let's see a couple more watches. What have you got hidden down there?
I don't know if I showed you this before, but this is the Chiron 16 W16, as you can see here, Bugatti watch. So the back of the watch, if you see, it says Chiron, as you can see. It's actually the shape and the look of the back of Bugatti. See it?
Dude, what are the three buttons?
For the three buttons, one in the center is to wind the watch. This is a push button here to start the engine, and the one to the left to set the time. So I'm gonna start the engine now by pressing this key. But sorry, this one. I'm looking upside down. So now you see that is. You hear it?
Yes.
It's the 16 cylinder, and the turbine is in the front.
Is it fair to say that no other watch company has ever created anything even close to that?
Oh, no, nothing. Because and then in the front you see the Bugatti logo, the horseshoe front.
Like the grill.
This is yeah. We created especially for Bugatti because we didn't even know that it would be possible to make this work. We tried, and till the end, in the drawings everything worked, but you know you have to actually make one piece prototype to see if it's working. And even when I spoke to my watchmaker, he says until the end, until I saw it's working, I didn't believe it's going to work. So we are very pleased with it. Very happy. And this is for those people. I'm going to put it on so you can see it on my wrist, actually. So you see the size of the watch. The size is pretty good because it's like 20 millimeter height, 44 millimeter width. It's pretty, it's comfortable.
Looks absolutely amazing. So how many of those are you making, and what do they retail for?
And so the titanium ones, the total will be 250 pieces between the titanium. It's very light titanium. There will be some 50 some pieces in gold. 126 pieces in titanium, 52 pieces in diamonds, and 72 pieces in gold.
And how much are they?
And 21 pieces in sapphire crystal. The start price is 280,000.
And you mentioned sapphire crystal. How
Yes,
much will that be?
Sapphire crystal will be available next year, 2021 February. That is $900,000.
I can't wait to see that.
You can see a drawing. You can see actually a rendering. It's on my Instagram. So I have it. You can see it's becoming very beautiful watch.
Well, we'll be sure to check that out. Adam, throwing it your direction. I know we've had lots of questions. Is there any left?
Yeah, we've got some left. This one's quite a funny one, actually. So this is from Dolphinos, or Dolphinos, and he said, Jacob, producer Michael, what's the odds of ever selling Michael a watch with no discount?
As far as I'm concerned, zero. Jacob?
Well, if we make a Michael watch, it will be no discount. Right, Michael?
To me.
Oh, sell to you?
Yes.
Yes, that's about time. Yeah. But, I couldn't give a discount. For example, Sharon, I cannot even give a discount. If he ever wants to buy one, it'll be full price.
But I have to say something. So when I buy something from Jacob, or actually anything I buy that's high value, it's part of the enjoyment of making the acquisition is the deal, and in very high priced items, there's always some room, and it behooves the buyer as well as the seller to do the best they can for each other, right? So it's not that I want something cheap. It's part of the fun, the enjoyment, and the actual pleasure of buying something. Would you agree with that, Jacob?
Yes, it's experience. Yeah, of course. And it has to be where both sides smile in the end.
That's exactly right. And I don't think there's ever been a time where both of us didn't smile when I bought something, right? Or maybe me more than you. So I think that's a lot of questions. I don't want to use all the questions because we'll be doing this on a semi-regular basis. And I think, how long are we running now, Adam?
We're at about 35 minutes right now, so that's a pretty decent episode.
Yeah, I think so too. I think let's have one more question. Why don't you have one more question? I've got one that I want to ask Jacob, and maybe I'll answer it too. But Felix Biederlack, he asks both of us, who is the most famous contact in your iPhone? It's a good question, isn't it?
The most famous. My wife. Yeah. And my wife.
I like that.
My wife. And then my children. And my friends.
So I'm going to say my most famous contact is you. So there you go, Jacob Arroyo.
Thank you.
I have his home number, his cell phone, his homes in all over the world. I have them all. So I'm very blessed. And he's the most famous. And certainly one of the most nicest people you'll ever meet. Really.
You too as well, Michael. I really enjoy your company.
Well, we have a lot of fun together. I will. I promise. As soon as we're able to travel again, hopefully very soon. But in the meanwhile, big thank you for spending so much time with us today. This will be a lot of fun for all the viewers. And most importantly, Let's get those designs submitted, and Adam's going to put an email address where we can submit the designs, and we're going to create a Jacob & Co. Producer Michael watch. So exciting.
And if we do use the design of someone's, that will they will get the first watch, I guess. Huh? We'll give them the first watch.
Second watch. First watch comes here.
I knew you were going to say that. I could feel it bubbling up. No, I need the first watch.
That's exactly right. I could have the first watch.
Yeah. Yeah. Really
that's amazing.
You know, I always have fun talking to you. Thank you very much for calling me. And I don't know if you probably saw this watch. The last watch I wanted to show you is my very proud watch. It's
the oil rig.
Yes, oil pump, double ring. You saw that.
Explain it to us.
Well, it's 3-axe turbine on the bottom, and this 3D oil ring. As you can see, the base, and you have the power reserve. You have the barrel. You have the pipes. This is all look like as if you're on an oil field. So this is something interesting for people who are in oil business.
So I'm assuming you're going to open a boutique in Texas, and I know you already have them in Dubai. So they're your customers.
Yeah. Yes. I hope we'll go up a little bit more so they can afford it. But yeah, I enjoy designing stuff like this. You know, this is for people that give each other gifts in a business like that. So, okay,
beautiful.
So thank you again for calling me, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. And once again, we really enjoyed this chat. Guys, send in your submissions with drawings of the watch. Don't go too crazy. They've got to be makeable. But hey, you can win one. So this was unexpected and very much appreciated. So hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. We're in it to win it. Jacob, thank you. We'll see you later.
Thank you. Goodbye.